Have we heard anything about the next step in whatever negotiations might happen?
I mean, there are a couple of next steps to keep your eye on, but unfortunately none of them is immediate. The administration telling us that actual construction of an embassy would likely take at a minimum 3 to 4 years. So do the math. That's the end of President Trump's 4 years, a 4-year term. So he will continue signing that waiver to keep the embassy in Tel Aviv for all of that time. In the meantime, there are a couple other timeline points to watch. One is the vice president's upcoming trip to the Middle East. President Trump mentioning that today. Nobody's sure exactly what sort of climate he'll be arriving in and how he'll need to modify his plans or his rhetoric as a result. And the second is the formal rollout of an Israeli-Palestinian peace plan that's been long awaited from the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and the envoy to the region, Jason Greenblatt, the two of them traveling back and forth in many conversations throughout the year with Palestinians as well as Israelis. The climate under which that rollout will now come at some point in 2018 is obviously inherently changed by what has happened today and the response in the coming days. And then the third thing to watch, I think, is the U.S. relationship with the Saudis, also the quietly building Israeli relationship with the Saudis. Part of what this administration is calculating is that the Palestinians, the cause of the Palestinians used to be the galvanizing point in the Middle East, and that now Iran is, and that changes the equations for peace. That's a lot of what we're seeing baked into the calculations about this course.
What we're seeing right now on the left-hand side of the screen is actually the old city wall of Jerusalem. That appears to be some sort of, it's a projection up onto the wall with an American flag. Obviously, the Israeli government quite happy with what they've heard today. Mike, I want to come back to you. We talked about the possible Palestinian reaction. What about more broadly in the region, the reaction from the Muslim countries, the Arab countries? We've already heard some reaction from Recep Erdogan, the head of Turkey, as well as from King Abdullah in Jordan. What do we expect from places like Egypt?
You know, that'll actually be the interesting point here. As Margaret mentioned, the Palestinian issue used to be the galvanizing issue for the Middle East, but there's a sense that that's changed, that now people are more concerned about Iran, about ISIS, and about terrorism. So it'll be very interesting to see to what extent this issue really resonates beyond the Palestinians and beyond Jordan, which has a majority Palestinian population. You know, there have been, Erdogan certainly has been taking a very public, vocal stand on this. And we've also heard some expressions of concern from Saudi Arabia, from the Arab League, but those have been fairly muted. So it'll be very interesting to see in the next day or two the extent to which, any protests, gather steam and the extent to which they spread beyond the kind of inner circle of the West Bank and Jordan.